Hey guys, it's Holly. So today we'll be having a look at the brand new LEGO Harry Potter set, Fawkes, Dumbledore's Phoenix. Yes, that is literally the name, and this is set number 76394 and has 597 pieces and will retail for $40 and 70 Australian. Now this is kind of the sequel or successor, if you will, to the incredibly successful set being the Buildable Hedwig last year. That was a set that never particularly interested me at first. I thought I could probably skip out on it. Turns out it was actually one of the most popular and sold out very quickly. So it's no surprise to kind of see LEGO revisit this with a buildable Fawkes, which I kind of actually predicted, little pat on the back here, earlier this year in my set prediction video, and I never thought that it would be kind of this pretty. Oh geez, did he just move? I swear he just moved. So this set, just like Hedwig, is basically a buildable creature with a flying feature and comes with a really nice brand new Dumbledore. So let's have a look at him first. So here is Dumbledore in these brand new robes, and I remember when this set first came out, I didn't actually know where these were from, but upon rewatching the Chamber of Secrets as I was building some of the other Harry Potter sets, I realized that this is actually his outfit from inside Dumbledore's office, which of course is the scene where Fawkes does burst into flames and is reborn from the ashes. So I thought that was a really interesting choice to give Dumbledore here, and just like the version in the Chamber of Secrets, he comes with the white beard and the white hair, which I've said this before, I think it looks a lot more accurate, and just Dumbledore's torso printing here just looks spectacular. He's got his little hat printing on the back, which is hidden by his really long hair, and even on his torso print on the front there is a lot of really nice detailing, a lot of metallic, but unfortunately you can't see much of it because of his beard. And same goes for his really neat face print. He's got a big smile there and kind of a more gentle one on the other side. But oh no. Now while we've had quite a lot of Dumbledore figures before, I'm really glad that this one is exclusive to this set and gives us something new. I don't think he's as good as the CMF version, but in my opinion, I think it's a lot better than the red version from the Great Hall. To me, this is a huge step up, and he just looks lovely and very warm and inviting and makes for a really great inclusion with this set. Similarly to the Hedwig set from last year, you also get the molded version of Fawkes, which does come from the Harry Potter CMF. So if you didn't manage to get the Dumbledore from that series, never fear, Fawkes is here and he looks fantastic. I love this Phoenix piece. In fact, I opened up 2 Dumbledores because I really wanted to have another one for my Dumbledore's office. He just looks spectacular, and I'm glad to see him return, even though it does make that Dumbledore a bit less exclusive, but I'm really glad to have this piece because I just think he's fantastic and works really nicely here. Dumbledore and Fawkes can then be placed on this tiny little brick built stand with a bunch of jumper plates and some of these golden grate pieces on the side, and you can just kind of stand him up here and have Fawkes over there, which is nice. They're very nicely and evenly spaced, and I think it looks really good. And you can actually attach this to the base of Fawkes if you want to, or you can just have it standing on its own like that. So here is Fawkes all built up, and this is a beautiful figure. I love the base of this, and even just how it's got that little golden bar that he sits on inside Dumbledore's office. I think that is beautiful. The color scheme of Fawkes just in general is stunning and looks amazing in brick built form with all of the different tones of orange and yellow and red. I just love how much depth and kind of color there is to it. I also love just the design of Fawkes as a bird. I think he's very long, skinny, and elongated and just looks spectacular. His head really shocked me. I'm surprised at how small that is, and it is connected to his body using one of those kind of skinny tube pieces, and I love what they were able to do on such a small scale. It looks so much like him. It's adorable. I love the claws for his feet as well and how they kind of link up on this rod. But if you do take a close look at it, you can see that they're not really attached to his body. The clips are actually attached to the reddish brown base, which I kind of find really interesting, but from far away you really cannot tell at all. To me personally, I prefer the base of Fawkes. I think it's a lot more interesting. These golden pieces especially look fantastic, and there is a 2x2 jumper plate here, which is where you can kind of attach attach the little minifigure stand if you want to have Dumbledore and Fawkes there. As well, unlike Hedwig, there is a printed tile with Fawkes' name rather than a sticker sheet, and I think that's purely down to the fact that there's no letter that Fawkes is carrying this time around, so you literally just need the print, which I'm glad to see because my sticker sheet on my Hedwig actually was missing some printing, which was kind of funny. Similarly to Hedwig as well, the entire base is built up very similarly. However, I did actually have this entire thing attached as I was kind of cranking the Technic functions on a live stream when I built this. This entire rod and middle section did pop off where I was kind of just holding it like this and turning it round. So that wasn't too fun, but I did manage to fix it. And another thing to note is that this whole kind of Technic handle thing over here is very, very flimsy in comparison to Hedwig. I've actually pulled off these handles several times. The function still works as intended. All of the gears run very smoothly, but just these two handle pieces on the side are so very, very loose and just fall off incredibly easily, which is very frustrating if you are kind of trying to spin it round. I've had it happen even just holding it on a desk like this. So that is something to be aware of. I don't think it's going to be too prone to happening, but it's a lot more flimsy and kind of easier to slide off than I'd usually expect from Technic. Like, just look at that. This could potentially be a faulty piece. I'm not too sure, even though the other side is kind of the same. So maybe it's the rod, maybe it's just how the set works, unfortunately. Moving on up to the body of Fawkes, and as you can see, there are a lot of different colors here. You've got orange, you've got red, you've got dark orange, dark red, and then on the head as well, you have some yellow, just using a lot of really warm tones, and this entire thing just looks gorgeous. There are a lot of different tiled pieces as well as some exposed studs. You've got some curved elements. Everything looks really clean. I love the angled pieces here. I love the Nexo shields on the tail. Speaking of the tail as well, you can move these two pieces up and down, and these ones can kind of tilt out to the sides as well as tilt up and down, so you can kind of create a sort of pattern or formation with the tail here. Similarly to the wings, you can kind of adjust these little pieces here. However, this third one, you can't really move around too much because it will sort of hit this wedge piece here. It's kind of got to stick up a tiny bit there, but the wing is built into 3 different sections. You've kind of got those clips on the end here, you have the main kind of compartment, and then these little sections in the middle, and that is purely so that when you do crank this little arm here, the entire thing can flap and give it a really wide range of motion, as you can kind of see it go through all of those elements here as it then kind of drops down once it cycles back through. It creates this really beautiful flying motion. However, because of the way the kind of tails work on his arms this time around, I don't quite think it's as clean and flowing as Hedwig's, because when you kind of hit this top part here, it looks great, but when it drops back down, all of these are still kind of sitting a bit too high up, I think, for my liking. I mean, you can kind of try and adjust it if you really want to. It's really not the biggest issue in the world, but that is something to notice. And as you can see, these clips aren't too secure either. These kind of joints here are all quite loose, and that's kind of the only problem I have with this set. It's gorgeous, but a lot of these joints and the Technic pieces feel a lot more loose than they did on Hedwig himself. So do keep that in mind. I don't know if this is a Lego quality issue. I don't know if everyone's going to have this problem or if it's just kind of the way the set's built, but it is something to note. As you kind of turn it around as well, you can see more of this detailing, and it really gives Fawkes a lot of feathers. I do wish there was a bit more on the back, considering it does look pretty flat here. You've got some of these curved pieces, and then it just kind of goes straight back down. But besides that, I think there is so much detail and really intricate design on Fawkes that you really can't go wrong with this set. It is a beautiful model and looks extremely accurate, and like I said, the scale of the head for being so small and how much detail they could get in, it looks spectacular and I love it. The other only bad thing is that you have all of the black at the bottom from the Technic pieces on the wings, so if you're going to put this high up on a shelf like I plan to, you are going to see all of this stuff, and once again it's the same kind of problem that exists, being the Technic pins being in bright blue and grey grey and not matching the colour tones of the set itself. So that is Fawkes, and overall, just like Hedwig, I think this set is incredibly beautiful. I definitely think Fawkes looks, to me at least, a lot better than Hedwig. I feel like the proportions are a bit nicer. I mean, apart from kind of the underside where you can see all of the black Technic, but even then, the color scheme works really well, and I definitely think the red color scheme just makes it look a lot better than Hedwig, but also just the head build itself is a lot better than Hedwig. So I'm really impressed with this set, although it's just, I feel like some of the Technic features do feel a bit flimsy. I feel like Technic as a whole this year has kind of taken a step down in quality, so it is quite unfortunate to see that, and I did have several occasions where kind of bits fell off, whether I be like kind of cranking the gears or even just holding on to it and the entire Phoenix falling off in the middle of a live stream. But otherwise, just as a display piece like this, it's very beautiful, kind of like the Imperial Probe Droid, but not as badly. It can be kind of fidgety and hard to actually pose in that flying position, but I think for me personally, as much as it looks better in that really high up wing position, I think considering how high up on my shelf this is going to go, I think I'm just going to leave it like this. Now overall, I'd have to rate this set an 8.5 out of 10. I think it is extremely beautiful, extremely gorgeous, but again, I don't think it's quite worth the full price tag. Hedwig you can find on sale these days, and I feel like that it's a lot easier of a buy, and I feel like you're going to feel a lot more happy with your purchase if you do wait for that lower price. It's 70 Australian dollars. For me, it feels like a bit much, especially because when you look at Fawkes himself, it's kind of quite skinny and quite elongated, which suits the character, but then again, makes you feel like you're not getting as much for your money. But let me know what you guys think about Fawkes, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And as always, I'll see you later.